I think men are naturally logical. Like that's why they always paint me as like giving relationship advice or whatever, but I'm like, I think guys need to decide for themselves. I don't really think like I think
Well,
each guy needs like
yeah.
because you see these guys, you know, like let's take Tate, right? Are most men gonna want to convert to Islam? Have for what? Like, yeah. I mean, it seems to work out for him, right? But
Sneaker.
yeah, yeah. You know, I just
Well,
don't.
you know,
I just think every guy kind of has to pick
I,
like
but
what makes sense for him.
But I think and another thing we've touched on this is that marriage, legal marriage, is screwed anyway, right? Legal marriage remains a very bad deal for guys. So if you're looking at the market, like I look at the market and I think, okay, legal marriage is pretty screwed, but there is a lot of opportunities out there. If you want to date, you can be a degenerate bachelor for pretty much as long as you want. It's actually a great time for that in many ways. And there's not much incentive for me to necessarily to go down the marriage route, because of the societal conditions and because of the possible consequences of that. So the logical decision is then, okay, I'm just sod that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go and do this instead, So it's partly we're driven by what's happening in the culture as well, aren't we? Because especially when we can see, women are being encouraged really
they're
to eat, pray,
incentivized.
love. There's all the stuff that's happening on Instagram and, all that kind of shit. I mean, it's just...
Well, like, I don't know why any Christian has a problem with when I say or Rolo says we don't support the way we do marriage today.
Yeah. I think they just avoid that question, actually.
They just hate the idea of the fact that we're saying that, hey, the way that we do marriage today is not even biblical. So you Christians out there, why are you supporting an institution being practiced in a form that's not biblical?
No, marry these hoes.
Yeah, go marry these single mommies.
Go get them, guys. And I don't even, it's so funny because I don't even care if a guy if he wants to marry a single mother and he has his reasons, go do it. I wouldn't recommend it like to a friend, but I just think every guy has got to pick for himself,
It is a very personal thing, really. I don't think
your relationship with God is personal.
But
it has nothing to do with the church. Your own choices are personal. These are personal decisions that other people are trying to talk about.
Why? Because that was the other thing he said to me. He was saying that I need to tweet about God more with my platform.
Who did?
Yeah, but why? Who is he to tell you?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I've just always felt like that's private. I don't know. Like maybe Christians disagree with me on it. I've just always felt like that part of my life is like private. And I find it weird when people like get famous or like do one thing and then they just start to like make it part of their brand. I don't know. It feels like weird to me. I can't really explain why, but
he kind of got famous on it, didn't he? Because that was what he was talking about the whole time. I think.
This is what I find funny is that, okay, you're gonna you complain about Fresh and Fit and Access Vegas and these shows, but you capitalize on being on there. So you go on these degenerate shows, these degenerate dating shows with girls with their tits hanging out, and you're sitting across from them, and you don't seem like you're having a bad day. I mean, you don't seem like you're really bothered by it at all. I mean,
it's like, yeah, a few Hail Marys out the back in the green room afterwards.
It's like.
He's like,
well,
I'll try for abstinence, but not with you, baby.
He's like, I may not physically do it, but I fuck you.
So what do you reckon he's doing? What do you reckon he should? He's obviously come out. He's a fellow Christian. He's making this big stand and beefing with these content creators. How should he be approaching this?
The way I look at it is like, I'm going to, if I was him, I would use my platform or my ability to reach people, but just to start off by sharing the gospel instead of telling everybody they're degenerates going to hell. That's not going to work. That's always turn people off, but appeal to them, in a, the Bible says that you're supposed to love thy neighbor. How is telling you guys you're going to hell and you're a bunch of degenerates and you're a bunch of, pieces of shit gonna like love thy neighbor?
Yeah, but they'll pull out another verse that says, "Oh, it's right to be judgmental." There's something in the Old Testament.
No, it doesn't say that,
doesn't it? I mean, I don't know. I've seen people making that argument. They'll pull out conflicting verses. But I always thought,
it's like,
doesn't the New Testament sort of almost supersede the Old Testament in a way? Wasn't it like now we got the New Testament and it kind of softens everything and makes us more about forgiveness and everything than we were before.
Well, God has always been about forgiveness from the very beginning all the way to the end of the New Testament. It's always been about redemption and forgiveness. That's been the whole book of the Bible.
Mm.
We see that from Genesis all the way to Revelations. The whole thing is that you win people over by relationships. Like when I talk to people, I establish relationships with them. I know porn stars, I know drug dealers, I know guys that are in music industry, I know actors, and I'm connected with them. I may not agree with their life choices, but you know what? They like me because I'm not judging them, but I'm able to drop some knowledge to them, biblical knowledge when asked. Like me and Pearl have talked about, you know, Christianity, the Bible, and the church plenty of times.
Yeah.
You know, and why am I able to do that? Because I have a relationship with them. I'm not condemning them. They're all going to hell. You start with the relationship, establish a relationship, and then you're able to like really make headway there.
Yeah. I mean, what about the argument that the Bible, you know, was written a very long time ago? The world is very different now. I guess that's no excuse, right? There's no get out clause there.
Problems are in the world today that are not in the Bible?
Sorry?
There's murder, there's greed, there's jealousy, there's whores, there's gluttony.
OnlyFans?
I mean, what? They had prostitutes back there. They just sat outside in the front. They didn't have internet, but you know.
True.
So when it comes down to it, the same problem. Nothing's new under the sun.
Well, yeah, you're right. You could argue, though, the modern global dating thing is kind of new because, like, before, you know, she's living in a little village and she's going to get stoned if she goes with the wrong dude, whereas now she could just, you know, go to Miami and go to Dubai or whatever, some dude on Instagram.
But men and women are not different.
No, they're not. They're not. But it's amplified their natural proclivities. Do you know what I mean? So now a girl who may have been more likely to be chased back in the day is now, like, thinking, well, I may as well be a 304 because I can get a load of money and go on this cool trip.
But they were doing that before.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's amplified.
It's just magnified. It's just magnified. It's just more in our face. Why does
everyone got these? Everyone seems to got a yacht with Drake, don't they? It's like
Drake never invited me on his yacht.
If you see this clip, Drake,
have you ladies been getting invites? That's so crazy. I never got mine.
It's just like that. You know, well, I told you that girl, that Italian girl I met. She's like, yeah. You know, I met Drake a few times, yacht, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, well, tell him, why didn't he invite me? That's so crazy.
He must have a lot of parties on yachts. He's hardly got time to record any music. He's just like...
Yeah, he's not been doing any music lately.
Well, he's on a yacht with all these Instagram birds, isn't he?
You would think that he would have a recording studio in his yacht.
Maybe he does.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, I think at the end of the day, when we look at it, is that, you know, you got two ideologies or two different, you know, worldviews here, and they're colliding. And instead of finding the common lanes that they agree upon and build off of that, you know, we're just causing more division.
Yeah, but if you had to sort of, I don't know, man. I mean, I know what you're going to say, but I mean, if you had to put money on one or the other, it's a bit like, you know, Myron's saying, well, look, this is how things actually are. These are the risks. We're teaching guys to mitigate those. And then Chase is basically saying, look, just cross your fingers and Christ pill and it's all going to be great.
Chase is telling you what it ought to be and Myron's telling you what it is.
So I would think
we're dealing with the is and an ought thing. We're doing with is and ought.
Yeah.
And that's the argument. You can't, you're not even talking the same language.
Yeah.
Well, this is what it is. Well, this is what it ought to be. Well, it doesn't matter, Chase, because this is what it is. You know, that doesn't make sense.
So I mean, you know, being an old cynic, but I would probably, you know, I'd have to go with Myron because it's like I think
Myron.
Yeah, I'd see Myron because you've got to look at things as they actually are. You know, and those guys, they get criticism because they're like, oh, you're in Miami and you're surrounded, you know, it's just all these instant thoughts. But they know what's going on out there, right? They know exactly what's going on out there and they reflect that back.
Hey, the Christian guys a lot of times marry an insta thought. It's just at like 28 or 29. So
yeah,
they just wait till she ages out.
Yeah.
It's like getting, it's like almost going to like the thrift store and getting those like real
you get a bargain.
Like, yeah, you get in a bargain deal. You know, it's still Gucci. Even though it's been, you know, 10 years old.
Just a little bit worn.
Yeah.
I feel naked says, or half naked. I like how rarely this conversation is. At this point, I've listened to much red pill content, but the solution is not practical to save the whole society. What, you mean the red pill solution?
Who can save all of society? I mean, that's my question. Again, what is an average trucker in Missouri going to do to save society?
I think
he's got to worry about himself, like, to be honest.
No, I think Glenn said it right. I mean, the thing that like say Fresh and Fit have done, and Pearl and anybody else really is said, look, this is the reality. This is how female nature operates. This is how the modern dating marketplace actually is. And like you said, to some extent, it's like do with that what you will. I mean, you can still get married. You can still be in a long-term relationship. I mean, you can do what you want. But
I don't even care if you marry a fat whore. Just know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, don't be complaining about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Don't be mad at. Don't be like, oh, this fat whore took me to the cleaners. Well, did you not listen to these guys? You rejected what the information that they're providing.
Yeah, I mean, guys can do what they want to do. I just say, yeah, don't complain about the consequences later.
Exactly.
Like I like what Rolo says about marriage. He's like, hey, if guys want to get married, he's like, do it. I support it, but at least you should know what you're getting into before you do it, so you don't come back here crying to me.
And it's even, almost even worse than this whole chase thing is the Matt Walsh and the Shapiros and all that, which is basically, and Benny Johnson and all that. It's like, get married, just the first chick you meet. It's just, it's so.
Oh my gosh, I had Matt Walsh's wife tweeting at me. Isn't that crazy? She gave me like a whole paragraph. I'm like, wow, what a submissive woman. She said I'm just like an evil, hateful, single woman who's just so evil.
Wow.
Yeah, you're a devil.
But this is the thing. Why are these people so judgmental though? I mean, that's the key thing. Like, I wouldn't really get as bothered by it if they were just more chill.
They met his trad wife. They met on like Match.com. I'm like, you don't know what she was doing before you met her. Like, I'm not trying to be rude.
Thing is
she hot?
The sad thing is, like, I know more non-Christians that act Christ-like than Christians.
Oh yeah. The Christian women bully me the worst, I will say. If there's like one group, they like bully me worse than any other group.
Yep, and it's just like, they're acting like Pharisees. Now, if you guys don't know what Pharisees are the religious people in the Bible that actually led Jesus to being crucified. That's exactly what they're acting like.
Yeah, these beaters get. Hi, Phil Half Naked says these beaters get furious after they find their significant other was a 304 LMAO. Who cares for the religious background? Yeah, I mean, well, that's why there's value in the red pill stuff, because you've got to understand what you're getting into, right? I mean, the majority, unfortunately or fortunately, whatever your viewpoint, the majority of people, Christianity is receding as a religion. Most people probably aren't now practicing Christians, and you're going out into a dating marketplace that is like a Shark Tank, really, and you've got to understand what's going on.
I don't even really see virgin women get great outcomes nowadays. I really don't. Most of the women that are like virgins in waiting that I've spoken to run into the problem that the men want to have sex that they're attracted to, and they don't want to wait.
What, the men don't want to wait?
Mm-mm. No, the men that they're attracted to, they can find a guy in church that'll wait, but the men that they're actually attracted to don't want to wait.